Greetings to each and every one of you, ladies and gentlemen. It is yours truly, Sho'Nuff himself. While you're coming in, make sure that you get a chance to like, share the live. I do understand it has been a while since we have been able to come in, and of course, we have been definitely cooking up some things, trying to make this light sharing something that for the most part, is something that I want to change the world with. Tonight, I want you all to know that you are not alone. And normally, as I start my greeting as good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you are getting the opportunity to come in and share this time with me, I appreciate your time. And I actually came in tonight on an assignment. The assignment that I came with was for the people who were not like them, not like her, not like him. But this is something more or less of a mission for someone just like you. Now, I want to share some things with you, and of course, I know that maybe possibly you might be a little busy. You might be, at work, or maybe you're on the road getting a chance to finish some things up before the end of the day. But whenever you get an opportunity to get started with me, if you would, just give me a couple of minutes of your time. And I want to press in on a conversation, should I say. Now, first and foremost, family, I want to start this by letting you know that life has a way of breaking us. Did you hear what I said, ladies and gentlemen? Life has a way of breaking us. And some of us have been broken by the cares of life, whether that has been by bills, responsibilities, pressures in life, stress. And some have been broken by trauma. Some have been broken by traumatic issues that they've dealt with on a day-to-day basis, whether that trauma came from a home that you lived and felt safe in, whether that trauma came by way of a relationship or a friendship, whether that trauma came by or event or wherever you was able to set your trust in, where you felt safe. And actually what caused that dynamic change in your life. And to be quite honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, you are not the only one that has dealt with this, but again, I say, you're not alone. Now, some have been broken by things that has happened to us. We didn't really deserve those things that occurred. The backbiting, the deceit, the cheating. These things has come and it broken us. It took us to a place that we would have never actually would have traveled or adventured if we didn't experience those true life events. Ladies and gentlemen, moments that we actually don't talk about, but we still feel. Something that, you don't really bring it up much, but to certain people, some of you don't even bring it up to the special people in your life because you don't think that they can handle the weight that comes with that experience, that event, that part of your story. You might not necessarily be proud of. And to be honest with you, that is, ladies and gentlemen, what I mean when I say trauma. And some of us have been broken from being forgotten, replaced, left out, overlooked, watching others get opportunities while we was questioning if God still remembered me. It's sometimes a tragic response we normally have when we see others who have played major or minor parts in these traumatic experiences in our lives. And we see them leap bounds. We see them achieve. We see them succeed and go forward in their life. And from our point of view, we feel as if that they was able to get away with what happened to us. And I'm talking to you. Now, if I'm not talking to you, share this with someone that I might be talking to. I'm talking to the individual who experienced such traumatic events in their lives. And actually, those experiences didn't do anything but play major parts in the decisions that we've made based off of what happened in the past. Past events normally, presently, cause us to make future decisions that actually we regret by and by. What do you mean? I mean, those issues and events that has occurred in our life, that is the reason why some of us are the way we are. We haven't shaken back from the things that had occurred to us when we were children, when we were teenagers, and some events that has happened to us while we were adults. These things are what I mean when I say things that has broken us. And that's what I want to talk to you about tonight. Broken, but built by God. Broken, but built by God. I came in with a word today. Just because you're broken doesn't mean you're finished. Just because you're broken, ladies and gentlemen, that does not mean you're finished. Your brokenness is not your burial site. Because you're broken, it does not mean that's where you died. You still have opportunities every morning when you wake up in the morning, every time you lay down at night, you still have an opportunity, yes, ladies and gentlemen, to start from step number one. And before we get to step number one, I want you to know, because of a lot of things that we deal with, of course, because of the things that we have experienced. It has made us feel like, life is over. It made us feel like, there's no need to continue to push. You feel as if that there's nothing else that you should be doing at this point because this part of your story didn't necessarily go. I know I'm talking to you. This part of your story did not go the way that you would have preferred it to go. You felt like it should have went this way. And because life is just life, it went another way in your story. And honestly, there in some things in our life, we would like to put a cute church tag or a slogan on it about why it occurred. But some things in life just happens. It doesn't have a definition. It doesn't have a revelation. It doesn't have a general statement that would make us feel better. We constantly look at reel after reel. We listen to motivational speeches over and over. We're going to church. We're hearing what the preacher is saying. We're hearing what our parents or our guardian or the person that we have given our ear to has to say. And they're giving us things that actually soothes us for the moment. But it does not actually heal our wound. The trauma that left us with wounds that we at first was so in pain to keep. Now we have endeared and brought these wounds into our life as friends. And now we have these friends that is only reminding us of how we are not good enough and we're not worthy enough to achieve what we once dreamed to become. Did you understand that when you was brought into this world, when you were born into this world to your mother and father, you were brought and born into this world simply because there was purpose on your life? But because of the traumas and because of the things that that happened in your life, you felt as if that was the finish of everything that you dreamed of. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you that is not the truth. That is not the end of your story. You have to understand, to every love story, every movie that you may have seen in the theaters, they come very exciting, and then all of a sudden there's a traumatic event that occurs, and now we're at the edge of our seat trying to find out, how does this person find love? In an action movie, you'll try to find out, how do they find the solution? But in actual terms, we would find it that is normally after the traumatic experience, event, occurrence happened. Some of us, we have felt like even on our walk, in our life journey with God. We got saved and we gave our life to Christ. And when we gave our life to Christ, we felt as if that life was getting ready to be sweet. It's getting ready to be great. It was getting ready to be something of substance. We felt like when we got with God that there was going to be nothing but goodness. But the truth of the matter is, life was not life without God. Life was not life without his response, his covering. And it was a better response that you have God in your life. And even though there are things that are still occurring, I know I'm at your door knocking in your direction. I'm opening your mailbox tonight, today, whenever you get an opportunity to listen to this. I know that is the case. You feel as if that this all has happened to you. You feel that this trauma has happened to you. You feel like the backstabbing happened to you. And because it happened to you and you didn't respond the way that you would have responded in your heyday and who you were back in the day, who you would have called up or what you would have responded with, you didn't respond that way. And because you did not get the chance to take the upper hand, you feel that you lost. So that traumatic experience taught you that you're not such a winner that you thought you were. Isn't that interesting? How pain can become a teacher to drive you in the direction of a self-destruction. In a self-destructing direction, your situation taught you that you was not good enough to make it to the next level. That's what I want to talk about. And that's who I'm talking to. I told you, because you're broken, that doesn't mean you're finished. I told you that your brokenness is not your burial. But it's the place where God begins to build you. Did you hear me, ladies and gentlemen? I said that is the place. What place? Brokenness is the place where God meets you. Brokenness is the place where God gets his hammer, gets his screwdriver, gets his impact drill, gets his nails and screws. That's when he actually gets ready to do the building on somebody as special as you are. Someone who has the opportunity, the capacity to change the world. And if you don't even want to change the world, ladies and gentlemen, you came to change your community, to change the cycle in your life, to change the cycle in your family. And you felt as if that you wasn't good enough to do it because your trauma taught you that there was no need for you to go on. Why go on when things are falling to my left and my right? Why go on? I'm going to church and nothing is happening good for me. Why go on when I'm doing well by people, but they're doing wrong by me? Why go on? That is the mindset of someone who has given up. That is the mindset of someone who's already got themselves prepared for a casket that was never created for a creation that has capacity to live and change a world that you are living in. I'm talking to you, young lady. I'm talking to you that you felt as if you were to cause yourself to go to school, you decide that going to school is the way that you can make a change in your dynamic. You can make a change in your circle, your community. You want to go to school. You want to graduate. You want to change in that dynamic. And because you have not reached it yet, because the curriculum is too hard, or because the things that you're dealing with in your life is too different, it's too difficult, it seems like it's not working, it's only because God is waiting to build someone like you. Ladies and gentlemen, check this out. God does not throw away broken things. He only rebuilds, he only restores, and he only renews. I have a couple of points for you, ladies and gentlemen. Point number one, brokenness is not failure. It's foundation. Brokenness, ladies and gentlemen, is not failure. It's foundation. With something breaking our lives, we think it's the end. But God says this, watch this. Revelation chapter 21, verse 5 says, I will make all things new. I just said to you in point number 1 that when something breaks in our lives, we think it's the end. God does not throw away broken things. Why? Because he declared in Revelation that he will make all things new. Brokenness gives God room to build something stronger, gives a room to build something deeper and more powerful than before. Have you ever seen someone, you go pick up something that was trash to another person and create something completely dynamic with it? We thinking about and putting this in the perspective of a God that created the whole universe, created everything and put everything in its place, and is still being obedient to it today. It's being obedient to him today. The only person, only thing, only object that is not being obedient is mankind. Why? Because we have the opportunity to make a decision, have the opportunity to reason with the decision that we make. We have a decision to either go left or go right. We have the decision to do whatever it is that we want to do because we have self-will. Self-will sometimes can be a piercing thing, very destructive thing, because sometimes what we decide can be, my God, beautiful destiny, but sometimes it can be dangerous destruction. Your opportunity, the option of just doing what you want can be the building of you or being the breaking of you. But that's a gift. That's something that God allowed all mankind to have their own mind. Did you hear me? I said, point number 1, ladies and gentlemen, point number 1 is brokenness is not failure. It is foundation. Listen, the Bible declares in Psalm chapter 51 and verse 17, a broken and contrite heart I will not despise. A broken and contrite heart I will not despise. Ladies and gentlemen, hear me. We think that God wants perfection. We feel like when we come into this place with God, what he desires is us to be just perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, God did not bring you into this world to be perfect. He knew that you was going to make mistakes once you hit the earth. You were shapen in sin and iniquity, which means that you're going to be faced with challenges every day, every week, every month, every year. There's always something that's coming around your neighborhood to test you, to try you, to challenge you, to stretch you, to grow you, to build you. Only not for you to be broken, but for you to be bold. Because what I learned is that when you have mastered a skill, you become more confident than before. Did you hear what I said? I said when you have actually learned a skill, you become more confident than you ever was before. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Your tears that you cried during this broken period is not weakness. They are soil for new strength. Your pain is not punishment, it's preparation. You feel that your pain that you experience, God allowed the pain to occur. He allowed the pain to occur in your life simply because, watch this, ladies and gentlemen, we feel that God allowed the pain to happen simply because he wasn't watching that at that moment. He wasn't paying attention when they done it. Huh? That's what you feel. So as a response, what do? You go here and there looking for a repair. You go here and there looking for someone to restore you, and they don't have the capacity to do what only God can do. You feel like you by yourself. So your response is to try to fix it by yourself. You overcame a lot of storms and you was by yourself. I'm talking to somebody in here. I know I'm talking. Now listen, you feel because you experienced by yourself, you got to handle it by yourself. You got to build it by yourself. You gotta stand in it by yourself when God said, I'm not going to ever leave you nor forsake you. And I'm not going to put more weight on you than you can bear. There's no way that God allows you to go this far and be broken for you to feel like a failure. It's not failure. It's only foundation. Your pain is not punishment. It's a preparation. Understand this. God is building me for where life tried to break me. In other words, when these challenges come back, what tried to break you before won't break you. Why? Because you had experience in this situation. And let me tell you how your life becomes a testimony to other people, because you overcame it. Do you find it odd that people come into your space asking you questions, telling you about their experiences of things that you've already overcome? To my church people, you know who I'm talking. You know what I'm talking about, because sometimes us in our religious mind, we feel like that is our opportunity to tear them down about what they're going through and how they should get closer to God and how damn to hell they are because of what they're doing, as if we did not just experience that 1 or 2 grades ago. I'll leave that there for you just to think. Point number 2, ladies and gentlemen, trauma may have shaped you, but it will not define you. Say that again. Trauma may have shaped you, but it will not define you. There are things you went through and that tried to destroy you. Some nights you cried silently because you didn't know who to trust. Some days you smiled on the outside while breaking on the inside. But hear me, ladies and gentlemen, trauma was a chapter, but not your whole story. People would try to make what happened to you the whole chapter, but it's just a part of the story that you're living in. They'll come to you and say things like, don't you remember when such and such happened? Don't you remember when they said this to you? Don't you remember when you was embarrassed? Don't you remember when they caused pain to you? Don't you remember? They will try to stretch out your experience, and your experience remain. Your experience remains a teacher. That trauma remains a teacher in your life, constantly telling you what you are not qualified for, what goal you will no longer reach because of the decision that you made or the decision you are making even now, things that you're doing even now. Some people you hanging with, you don't even know why you're hanging with them, but you hanging with them. Some people you talking to, you don't even know why you're talking to, but you're just talking to them. People in your right mind, you wouldn't even give the space to. You're giving them the space because it just feels in company. It feels in space. It feels in voids. Because that's the conversations that we don't want to talk about because we're broken. Ladies and gentlemen, can I tell you, God specializes in taking what hurt us and turning it into what heals us. What the enemy meant for evil, God turned it for the good. That's what Joseph said. Joseph said this in Genesis chapter 50, verse 20. He said, what the enemy meant for evil, God turned it for my good. Don't you remember the story of Joseph? When he was born to 2 parents, Jacob and Rachel. He came into this world with a gift, and the gift that he had caused him and his siblings to divide simply because they didn't have that same gift. As a response, Joseph ended up getting sold into slavery, only to be thrown into prison. That was the traumatic response of a gift. That was the traumatic response of the fact that he was brought into this world to make a change. You was brought into this world to make a change. You were sold out by your people. You were talked about by your friends. You were told you would be nothing. You was told that you're going to be nothing but like your mother. You was told that you would be nothing but like your father. You act like you act ignorant. You act dumb. You get called out of your name. You get told that you're not like the rest. You're irregular. There's something going on with you. There's so many things that come do what? To challenge you, but it came with an assignment to destroy you. And that's why we have this feeling of brokenness. But you survived what should have killed you. You survived what someone in this world pulled the trigger on themselves. They couldn't handle it. You went through that storm and you still pushing through. But there was somebody who experienced the same exact thing that you have experienced or now experiencing. And they end their life because they couldn't handle it. And you are a walking testimony of what it looks like to push through the event. Push through into the experience. Bring the experience into expectation and see how elevation goes after the event. Am I talking to you? Am I having this conversation with myself? I wouldn't even be crazy to think that I would come on live just to sound important. God is the one that led and inclined me to go on live tonight. I came to talk to you. You survived what should have killed you. You endured what others walked away from. And all because of that, God is rebuilding your strength. He's rebuilding your heart. He's rebuilding your purpose. I don't want to bore you. Point number 3. I have one more point after this. Ladies and gentlemen, point number 3. People may break you, but God will build you. Listen to me. People may break you, but God will build you. People have a way of breaking you. Your people have a way of breaking you. My people have a way of breaking you. Their people have a way of breaking you. Your friends have a way of breaking you. Your family have a way of breaking you. Your lover have a way of breaking you. And you don't know the difference. You don't see the difference. You don't see why this is occurring in your life. You don't know why this is happening in your life, but it's happening. Oh yeah, it's happening. And people around you know it's happening. Isn't it something how a person can see you in pain? See that you're struggling. See that you're trying to swim out of a storm. You're trying to survive out of a hurricane, and they just watch you. And they tell you how awful you look while you're surviving a storm. How stupid you look because you're trying to push through a storm. How it comes to you in this way. But you don't see how your name is getting ready to be made great. Because you survived what should have killed you. Because you endured and walked forward to what came to destroy you. Isn't that something? People can break you with their words, with their actions, their betrayals. There's sometime in friendships. People walk out but God walks in. People might walk out of your life, but when people walk out of your life, ladies and gentlemen, God walks in. People forget, but God remembers. People replace you, but God restores you. When others discard you, God says this, Isaiah chapter 41, verse 9, you were chosen. Hear me. Isaiah chapter 41, verse 9 says, you are chosen, not rejected. That's what God says. He says you were chosen, not rejected. Ladies and gentlemen, when others overlook you, God positions you. When people say you're not enough, God say, I created you on purpose, with purpose, for purpose. My last point, and I'm going to get ready to finish this live because I didn't mean to take all your time, but since I got your attention, listen to this last point. From broken to built. God does not build on arrogance. God builds on humility. He does not build on pride. He builds on a surrender. Sometimes God allows the breaking so he can do the building. Sometimes God allows the things that have happened in our life to allow us to surrender. Some of us are hardheads. Some of us, we don't feel like, we need God. We don't feel like we need nobody to tell us nothing. And so what God does, he allows events to occur that hit us like a whirlwind. And then at that point, we have reached surrender. And you say, this is crazy in my life. And God says, this is exactly where I wanted you. I wanted you in a surrendered state. Because in your surrendered state, I can create the greatness. I can bring potential to power. I can bring what people threw away in you and build a treasure with what the other people threw away. Do you actually know, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. One man's trash is another man's treasure. One people's trash is God's treasure. Young lady, you feel that because you have multiple streams of love from different areas that you are important. Young man, you feel like having multiple streams of love make you important. And it comes and is rooted from a place of brokenness. But society builds you and applauds you because of your own personal development, because of that place of brokenness. It is called trauma bonding when other people praise you for your own indiscretions. Praise you because you decide to make decisions because of your pain. Sometimes you don't understand that your pain is actually the representation that people see. Because if they ever would have seen you, they wouldn't have never chose you. Did you hear what I said? If they really would have seen you, they would have never chose you. Sometimes a person would accept you into a relationship, love-wise, because they met you at a place of the traumatic version of you. The toxic side of you. The outside you. The side of you that people praise, that they're entertained by what? They're entertained by your brokenness. They're entertained by your stress. They're entertained by your pain. He thought he was all of that. She thought she was all of that in a bag of chips. Look what she's going through. Look what he's going through. They praise that storm in your life. Because they're seeing and they're watching you while you're constantly pedaling. You're swimming through the storm. You're going through this, trying to make it. You see the light at the end of the tunnel, but it seems like the more you swim, the further the light is going. I'm talking to you. I'm having this conversation with a broken person. Having this conversation with someone who feel like they got it all together. They're smiling on the outside, but crying on the inside, and they don't have a tool. They don't have no one to talk to. They can't trust nobody because the last time they had a conversation about their most vulnerable place in their life, they shared it with them on social media. They shared it with the conversations with other people. That's what they done. They didn't share the fact that I was really trying to get off of the alcohol. They did not share that I was trying to get off of the drugs. They did not share that I was trying my best to get my bills paid. They did not share that I was trying to build my family. They did not share that I was trying to go the other way. They did not share that. They didn't have the gall to share that. But they shared your pain. They shared your pain. They shared your stress. They shared your trauma. Ladies and gentlemen, hear me when I say this. He doesn't build on pride, feeling like you got it all together. He builds, ladies and gentlemen, on surrender. Sometimes God allows these breaking events to do the building. A seed must break before it grows. Hear me, ladies and gentlemen. A seed must break before it grows. If a seed remains in its shell in the ground, it will never produce anything. Any seed that has ever went into the ground, it has to go through a process of being cracked under pressure. Do you hear me? That seed has to be buried. That seed has to be buried. And while it's buried, ladies and gentlemen, it has to be placed under the dirt. And it has to be under the dirt while the rain is falling on the dirt that's falling on the seed. And while all this pressure is upon this seed, it's pressured and pressured until it cracks. But until it cracks, it won't grow. But when it cracks, that's when growth actually takes process. You want to be a nurse? You want to be a doctor? You want to be the next lawyer? That's what you want to be? You want to be an entrepreneur? You want to finish school? You want to be an awesome dad? You want to be an awesome mom? You want to be a preacher? You want to be a professional athlete? You have all these things that you desire to be, and they're right at the tip of your fingertips. And because of trauma, because trauma taught you that it was the end of your story, you felt like this is the opportunity to give it up. Trauma taught you that if you was to push a little bit further, if you was to continue a little bit further, you'll be wasting your time. That's what trauma does. The preacher said it was the enemy, but I will tell you it's the inner you. I would say that it was the inner side of yourself that's been talking in your ear because of the words that they spoke to you. I'm talking to your nappy-head self today. Tonight, I'm talking to you. You feel like you feel like, you know what, I'm just going to change careers. And that actually is not what God really wanted you to do. God didn't allow you to go through these things for no reason. He's seen that you was prepared for it. He's seen that you can handle it. He's seen that you was capable. You were qualified for these tumultuous events, and you're dealing with them. You're dealing with them. While you're broken. You're being a mother while you're broken. You're being a father while you're broken. You're being an employee while you're broken. You're being the best you can while you're broken. You're playing your sports while you're broken. You're having conversations with friends while you're broken. You're telling everybody it's all right. And on the inside, it's not all right. You're living life from a broken place. Sometimes brokenness can lead to burial if we don't see that God came to build us. As long as you're being taught by your traumatic events, your sneaky links, and I'm not talking about sexual encounters, I'm talking about the sneaky links in your life as far as your depression that you visit every now and then, your toxic relationships that you still entertain. The people who came into your life just to snatch things away, that they're constantly, and they're still in your life right now, as we're talking right now. They're still texting you. They're still emailing you. They're still high-fiving you. They still asking you what you're doing next weekend. Your sneaky links. The people who is fueling your brokenness, and you don't even see it because you have a good time, but for a moment. Clay must be pressed before it's shaped. Gold must be heated before it shines. You want to be gold, you got to go through fire. Got to go through fire. In order to get that glow, you got to go through fire. It's not a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not a praise break. It's good attendance at church. It's not that. No. Some things that you're doing, you're constantly, you're praying and you're fasting and you're asking God, and every time God gives you what's going to take to build you, you feel like God and betrayed you. No, he's building you. He's building you. That's what he's doing. He's building you. God says today, I am building in you in every way. I'm building you spiritually. I'm building you mentally. I'm building you emotionally. I'm building you financially. You are not being destroyed. You are being developed. When God allows these things to come, he's not doing this to cause. The Bible says, think it not strange, these fiery darts come to try you as some strange thing has occurred. He is not trying to destroy you. He is trying to develop you. Develop you from what? Develop you from what you are used to being in. Developing you out of your comfort zone. Development, a whole nother you that's going to be birthed out of you that the people that's around you will never be able to recognize. Because the true fact of the matter is that your brokenness actually is about to produce something in you that's going to shock the community around you. They remember you to be the crackhead. They remember you to be the whore. They remember you to be the thief. They remember you to be the robber. They remember you to be the thug. They remember you to be less than everything they would be able to put money on. They felt like you wasn't good enough. So that's what they thought of you. So God allowed brokenness to come. God allowed trauma to come. God allowed storms to come. He allowed storms to come. And then when he allowed the storms to come, development is taking place and you ain't even noticed it. People start leaving your life and you ask yourself, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. God is breaking that seed. He's cracking the shell. He's allowing the pressure to come down because what's on the inside of you is getting ready to come out of you. You hear me? I said what's on the inside of you is getting ready to come out of you. And it's going to come out of you without your permission. That glow on the inside of you is getting ready to come out of you without your permission, without your affirmation. That side of you that the world is waiting on. How can she be able to be successful? And she has children. How can he be successful? And he has fines and he has a felony. How can she be successful? She never went to school. How can he be successful? And he was a class clown in school. How can he be successful? I did this to him. I did this to her. I did this to destroy them. And they still pressing because of your brokenness. The building process has already taken place, ladies and gentlemen. You're not being replaced. You're being rebuilt. You have to declare this over your life. I am healed from what hurt me. I'm rising for what broke me. I am chosen. I am loved. I am remembered by God. My brokenness is becoming my breakthrough. My brokenness is becoming my breakthrough. God is building me again, stronger, better, wiser. He's expanding. He is building me. He's building me. Where they thought that I was left off at. How could he come up from such a situation? They dragged this name. They dragged her name. They said this about them, but you're getting ready to hit your breakthrough. And your breakthrough getting ready to hit your life, and it's going to blow your mind. It's going to be something that your enemies would have never expected at a time you would have never expected it. But because you pushed through your brokenness. I say this and I'm closing up. I'm getting off of here. You may have walked in broken, but God says you're leaving out built in this coming year. You may have felt forgotten, but God says you are seen and chosen. You may have been crushed, but God says you are called for a purpose. God is not finished with you. He's rebuilding you piece by piece, stone by stone, day by day. And as he's building you piece by piece, ladies and gentlemen, he's going to give you that eternal peace that you're looking for. And it's not going to come by way of trying to find love in the wrong place. It's not going to come by way of causing your body to be put under this pressure. It's not going to come by way of you destroying other people. It's not going to come the way it used to come. It's not. You was looking for a certain high in your life, and you've been chasing that high for the longest. You feel like for some reason this blunt ain't hitting no more. It feels like this shot of alcohol is not hitting no more. It feels like, you know, having these multiple rendezvous with this one and that one, and it's not working no more. Something is going on. Let me tell you what's happening. God has interrupted your station with news here broadcast sent to you by Process. Development has come to a theater near you. Preparedness has come to a theater near you. From broken to built. From wounded to a warrior. From forgotten to favored. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for having this moment with me. Thank you for listening. It's always a pleasure to be able to be in your midst. But before you go, I want to encourage you that you would share this with someone. I know normally I don't do lives long, but this one is one that I had to push through on. Share this with someone. Hit the share button. Share this with someone that you know that has felt like they are broken and without cause, they have no hope. Because I want to talk to them. Because God wants to build them. Ladies and gentlemen, if this message has blessed you, I would encourage you. You have the link in the live. If you would like to send a blessing, cool. Have the link and the information on the live. But if you don't want to, that's fine. I didn't come here for your money. I come to reconstruct your memory. You be blessed and understand that God chose you. And if he chose you, he was prepared to build you. God bless you. Amen. I love you. This is Sho'Nuff himself. And you can't shine like this. We're making the world change one day at a time. God bless you.